From Press Communications LLC, this is Jersey Shore Matters with Dianne DeOliveira.
An Asbury Park nonprofit is trying to lower the city's high unemployment rate by using a mobile food truck to provide local youth with work opportunities and future careers. Hi, I'm Dianne DeOliveira, and joining me today is Michael Castellano, Executive Director of Food for Thought by the Sea. Thank you so much for being on the show, Mike.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
You know, this is really amazing what this organization is doing. As the website says, the food truck is literally a vehicle for change. Now, how did the idea of starting a mobile kitchen begin and eventually become the Food for Thought food truck?
So for those who aren't familiar with Food for Thought, it was actually founded by a local restaurant owner, Marilyn Schlossbeck, who owns a few restaurants at Asbury Park, Langosta Lounge, Asbury Park Yacht Club, Pop's Garage, and she now has a couple other restaurants as well. But Marilyn started the organization a few years back. She gives so much to the community and does so much for the community, and she wanted another way to give back outside of what she was doing, simply just shuffling food out of the restaurants, right? So she's constantly having community meals for holidays, giving away meals to local organizations, and she said, you know what, I want to be able to take this mobile. I want to be able to do this not just out of my brick-and-mortar store. I want to bring it everywhere. And so that's where the idea for the food truck came about, and that's where we're at.
That is so cool. And yes, Marilyn does so many amazing things for Asbury Park. I don't know how she has the time to do everything she does.
I don't think anybody does. We all question it. We all ask how it's possible that any human being is able to do as much as she does, but she manages to get it done. And Food for Thought is really starting to take off, and we're all really excited. It's such a fantastic idea. It's such a great opportunity. So we're just overall, it's been a really great year thus far.
Super. Now, I want to ask, how does it actually work? I know you have local youth that work the truck. How old, how many kids work this? And do they go through some kind of formal training in a restaurant, or are they taught on the truck? How does it all work?
Yeah, so the process is actually really simple once it's explained. So I'll take one organization, for example, that we're working with right now, which is the Boys and Girls Club of Monmouth County. So what we do essentially is we will go to the organization and say, hey, we would love to bring some youth on the truck. We're looking for X amount. So we'll say, in this case, we're looking for 10. And they'll come to Maryland's restaurant, Langosta Lounge, where they'll go through a formal presentation, a formal training, give them kind of a rundown of what the program is, what the food truck is like, what the restaurant industry is like, hospitality, things like that. And so if it seems that's something that they'd want to do and that suits them, we, again, bring them in for an even more formal training, in which case then they're dispersed. They're out in the real world. They're on the food truck. I will bring them on the food truck myself. We'll do some training, go through the motions of what happens on the food truck, what it's like to talk with customers, what it's like to get people excited. And then what's even more exciting is that the positions are interchangeable. So because Maryland has the restaurants, it's not only limited to the food truck. So in the days that the food truck is maybe not accessible, or it's raining, or the season's over, there's still positions at the restaurant. So these youth get trained in all aspects, and they're able to, again, be interchangeable, go from a server to a busser to a host to working on the truck, and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an amazing concept, really, because they're really learning everything, and it's a free experience for them that can help them potentially for their lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, there was a misconception, I think, when I had first started, between whether the work was volunteer, whether it was paid. And the answer is they get paid. The kids that are on the truck, these youth, like they're getting paid minimum wage to start and going up from there. And the hours, essentially, you know how busy it gets at restaurants in the Jersey Shore during the summer. So the hours are essentially limitless for the kids that want to really, really get involved and learn more.
Yeah, and I'm sure once they see like the money that they're earning, it probably gives them a little more ambition to want to get into this field or do other things. There's so many aspects that they can get into with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's a pretty common saying that if you work in a restaurant, you pretty much have the skills to go work anywhere. And it's true. I think that everybody should work in a restaurant. I know Maryland feels the exact same way because it gives you skills that you can really use just about in any single career. Hospitality is just such a well-rounded profession. There's so much that you learn there, and you can take those skills with you everywhere. And that's one of the things that we harp on, is that even if at the end of the day, 60 to 70% of these youth don't want to end up in the restaurant industry, they got some fantastic training, they got some fantastic experience, and now they can take that training and experience to whatever career they want to go to next.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Mike, when the food truck is out and about, does it just, go out in Asbury Park during certain days or times? And what kind of food is sold?
Yeah, so we kind of tailored the menu last year a little bit to be like a more like summery vibe with some vegan options and some fruit juices. But right now we're situated to be at Northeast in Asbury Park on the boardwalk, which is really exciting. We'll be out there a couple of days a week. We'll be at Music Mondays, Springwood Park in Asbury Park. That's every Monday between June and September, I believe. And then in between all of those, we'll be working in some special events like the event we have coming up.
Yeah, and we will talk about that event shortly. I also want to just ask you, how has Food for Thought made a difference in Asbury Park? What has the response from the community been, or even from the parents of the kids who are working on the truck or getting this experience?
It's overwhelming. The response is just absolutely fantastic. We were getting a slow start over the last couple of years, starting to gain traction, and this year we've really, really started to pump it out and get excited and get people excited. And the response is just, it's really just so positive. People are so excited that there's an opportunity for youth to get an opportunity to get some work field experience with someone who has experience and someone who's not going to judge them, who's not going to talk down to them, who's not going to take advantage of them. So again, just extremely positive. Everybody's excited, and that makes us excited.
I want to remind our listeners, if you are just tuning in, I'm your host, Dianne DeOliveira, and I'm speaking with Michael Castellano, the Executive Director of Food for Thought by the Sea. It's a food truck based in Asbury Park, a nonprofit food truck, I should add. And you have a really cool event that is coming up on next Sunday, April 24th. And just tell me all about what's happening here, because this is also a first event of its kind for Food for Thought by the Sea and the United Way of Monmouth and Ocean Counties, right?
Correct. Yeah, we were so fortunate enough to be able to be connected with the United Way. We were actually connected to a mutual supporter, Tom Hayes, who was the Director of Customer and Community Relations with New Jersey Natural Gas.
Yeah.
We're super engaged with both organizations. And fortunately, like I said, he was able to connect us, and United Way just has such a parallel mission to what we do with their youth training that they do, and their financial success student networks, and their nurse practitioner programs. They do so much, and it's just it's very admirable, and again, just so in line with what we do. But yeah, this food truck festival, United for Impact Food Truck Festival, April 24th, in partnership with Downtown Freehold, is going to be a really, really exciting event. As you mentioned, it is the first event of its kind for both of us. We've been to events before, Northeast, as I mentioned, Music Mondays, things like that, but this is our first food truck festival.
And this is really cool. So I guess there's going to be 9 food trucks, live music. How is it all going to work?
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be right on the main street in downtown Freehold from 12 to 6. And yeah, as you said, there's going to be 9 food trucks. We are one of those 9, 21 vendors, bunch of live music, local bands. It is free to attend, but there is a suggested donation just to advance United Way's mission. So yeah, just overall, just a really fun event, a really great way to get people out and start off the summer after a couple of really dark and, unfortunate years.
Yeah. Now, what other kinds of food trucks will be featured?
There are a couple. We are actually the only nonprofit food truck, I believe, which is really exciting. But there are a couple others. I know there's a vegan food truck which is going to be there. There's a couple cafe-type food trucks, if you will, with coffee, desserts, and things like that. So, just a very well-rounded group.
Can you name any specific success stories? I know it's fairly new, but have any youth that have gone through the training and worked the food truck gone on to actually have positions or further a career in the food industry or the hospitality industry?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. There is absolutely success stories within that. One of the things that we are so fortunate to have is Marilyn behind the organization, because at the end of the day, to get this experience, she's got the availability in the restaurants, and she's got the availability
Right.
for them to move up in the restaurants. And so there are plenty of youth within her organization at Langosta, at Yacht Club, that have been in the program and that have worked their way up. So they exist. The stories exist. They're there. The proof is there. It's just a beautiful program all around.
Mike, how did you get involved with Food for Thought?
How did I get involved? That's actually a great question. Marilyn and I go back a couple of years, and when she had told me that she was trying to get the nonprofit, off the ground running, she said, "Listen, I have this great nonprofit. It's here. It's outlined, but now we really want to get it moving." I fell in love with it, and when I fell in love with it, I wanted to help her in any way that I could. At the time, I was heading another nonprofit, the Surfrider Foundation, and so my time was a little limited, but as soon as my reign ended there, I linked up with Marilyn again, and I said, "Hey, let's get this thing going." And we've been off and running ever since.
That's so awesome. Now, how difficult was it to get a truck, or how long did that process take?
It's actually, luckily enough, Marilyn has some good connections with a friend who runs Johnny Porkroll, a food truck out of Asbury Park, and he had a truck that was readily available, and so it worked out that she was able to get one directly from him, and we were fortunate enough to have New Jersey Natural Gas in our corner, who was able to support us financially in getting that food truck. So getting it was actually fairly simple, and outfitting it was fairly simple. We worked with a company out of Point Pleasant, Blazing Visuals, who got us our decals and wrapped the truck for us and made it look the way it does now. So the process of getting a food truck, surprisingly easy, when you'd think it would be very difficult.
Yeah, that's interesting. I thought it might be hard, but it sounds like everything fell into place.
Yeah, you do. You think that would be the most difficult part, like, where do I get a food truck? You don't expect one to just fall into your lap, but that's essentially what happened.
Mike, we have a few minutes left. What else do you want people to know about the food truck, about the organization, or even just the festival coming up? Is there anything people need to do? I know it's free, but do you just show up on next Sunday, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's it. Like, as I said, we'll be there from 12 to 6. You just show on up. There'll be live music all day. We're hoping for some really great weather. Unfortunately, it is rain or shine, but the way it's looking now, we're looking like it's going to be a beautiful day, and so we're hoping that stays through. But as far as the organization goes, the food truck is really one component of what we do. Marilyn, as I said, has been doing this for a long time, and really what we're focused on doing is being a platform for collaboration between other nonprofits and other organizations. And so down the line, we're thinking about not only connecting Langosta Lounge, but connecting other restaurants with youth from other organizations as well. So there's an opportunity to really get organizations to work together, because sometimes it's a little difficult. So almost like a middleman, hey, how can we connect you two? Can the food truck be a vessel to connect Boys and Girls Club? Can it be a vessel to connect Big Brothers Big Sisters to another local restaurant in Asbury Park or in Monmouth County, wherever it may be, not limited to Asbury Park? But
that's what I was going to ask. Are there any plans in the future to maybe, start something like this in other communities besides Asbury Park, or in addition to?
Absolutely, yeah. It's been a lot of fun getting it started now, and once I think we get the truck situated, and once we get this completely ironed out and rocking and rolling, and the summer is done, then we can start to look at other events. We can start to look at other municipalities. We can start to look at another food truck. The opportunities are endless if we do it correctly and we do it proficiently.
Michael, thank you so much for your time. Is there any final words you'd like to add before we say goodbye?
We are extremely excited for the event on Sunday, and we hope that everybody comes out. We want to say thank you to United Way for having us, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody on a beautiful day and serving up some delicious food.
Michael Castellano, Executive Director, Food for Thought by the Sea in Asbury Park. Thank you again, and I wish you much success in the future with the food truck.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me.
You can hear Jersey Shore Matters with Dianne DeOliveira every Sunday morning on Press Communications, LLC.